Can you hear me? Okay, I'll aim it this way. All right. How many of you have been involved in politics before this bill came up? Not many. How many got involved because of this bill? There you have it. We have moms and grandmothers and brothers and sisters, but mostly this is a women's movement. Do you not say? This is what many women have been talking to their legislators, and they've been talking to their doctors. They get patted on their head and told they don't know what they're talking about, and this is not acceptable. Keep pushing. Keep telling people that this is about medical freedom. This is about your right to have informed medical consent. That is the issue right here. We have so many people that have come in and talked to us, and I think that you are a force to be reckoned with, and you've inspired me, and that's why I'm here, to encourage you to keep going. You're doing wonderful things. You're letting people know that this is just not the American way. This is not the Oregon way, and you're not going to stand for it. Okay, you guys are inspiring. Keep up the good work. You are a force to be reckoned with. You have awoken. You have inspired many of us in that building, and I think that though there are many who still want to support this bill, there are many, I think, who are secretly going to leadership and saying, hey, you cannot make us vote on this. And I think you're making some moves here. I think you're making people change their mind, and just keep up the good work, keep up the pressure. I know here you were just living your lives, going along, not harming a soul, and then somebody comes along and says, hey, we're going to make you do this, like it or not. It's for the public good, and we're going to make you do it. And that's what you're saying no to, and that is what you have to keep up. Thank you for being here today, and thanks for asking me to. I just hope that I can give you words of encouragement and that you're doing good work. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and give her another round of applause. That was our next speakers for today are Julie, Laura, and Amanda Hoffman. Hang on, I gotta shuffle through my papers here. My assistant. First of all, I forgot to introduce myself earlier. I don't normally do a lot of public speaking, so I was a little bit nervous to kind of rush through it. But my name is Emily. I first got involved or passionate about vaccine awareness when I was pregnant with my first kid almost 10 years ago now. I was pressured by my employer. I was pressured by my doctor to get vaccinations. But ultimately, it was my decision and my choice. And I think that's why we're all here. We want our decision to remain our decisions about our kids and about our medical choices. So, yeah. So our next speaker is Dr. Julie Glass. Dr. Glass graduated from National University of Natural Medicine in Portland in 1998 and has practiced naturopathic family medicine in Oregon since 1999. She has treated many children with chronic medical conditions such as asthma, allergies, ADHD, and autism. Dr. Glass currently works at Deep Roots Family Medicine here in Salem, where she serves both as a medical director and a naturopathic doctor. And as well, Dr. Amanda Hoffman will be joining her. Dr. Hoffman graduated from the National University of Natural Medicine 10 years ago. She is owner and medical director of, I'm going to say this wrong, Collapso Natural Clinic in McMinnville, Oregon. Dr. Hoffman is a primary care provider and serves families in McMinnville and surrounding communities. She has special interest in connective tissue and genetic disorders. Let's give them a round of applause as they come on.
being here today. I definitely have to agree with Senator Thatcher that I was not. I honestly have. Oh,
We can't hear you.
you'll probably hear me better without the thing. I'm Dr. Amanda Huff. We can kind of share together. But it's your movement here. I mean, I do my little thing and whatever best I can and try and hide in my clinic. And then when I saw this coming up, I reached out to the community, the naturopathic world, and I'm like, who's got the balls, is what I basically said, stand up and talk about this. And there was a hush. And they said, no, actually, your school's kind of against it now. They've got the president is kind of on the other side, and so it's really a discerning time. It's going to be difficult for me to talk. But I'm here today because I always want to help support minorities. I'm very much for supporting all of you who probably have a very good reason why you don't want to be vaccinated. 2.6% that we are in Oregon is fucking phenomenal. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, lots of
Great success!
But we're above herd immunity. Why are we getting picked on? Why are we focused on a little percent that does not need to be touched? Parents and their doctors probably decided that those kids aren't best for getting vaccinated, so let's respect that. The oath we take as doctors to do no harm, and we are not taught properly about vaccinations in school, not even at the naturopathic school. You thought we would have been whipping that thing out and looking at those inserts? No, it's you guys that made me do that yesterday, and I sat down and read them, and they are disgusting, and it's clear what's in there, and they're very much causing disease. Our herd immunity, I'm not going to look at I think because we all know all those percentages. I know our legislators have seen the numbers, and we have to make sure that we can do the number one most important thing, and that's provide informed consent and not be taking away informed consent. We are doing justice as doctors well enough when we're not pulling out that insert and into the informed consent. It is a federal law that we do that. And we almost had to bring that, your group was bringing that as the first bill to say, hey, let's just educate. Let's make the doctors actually pull this out and educate. You shouldn't even have to do that. That's a federal law we're supposed to do. But I've heard of MDs pulling it out now, and they're starting to read it, and they're starting to question things. So this is really awesome. You guys are starting the conversations. I was more pro-choice, like let everybody see. And I had one child who has my connective tissue disorder, Marfan syndrome. And there are studies with it that show that it can be immune compromising. Now, there's nothing specifically with a vaccine with that, but we know that anybody who has an immune compromisation should not be given one of these. So my second son, where I played around with and said, okay, let's try it with DTaP, I'm now dealing with nightly pain. This is way beyond growing pains that I had with my other child, and he's not the one that has 3 feet long legs like I do. I understand what that is. This is something else. The fact that we're not taught as doctors to see where these side effects are and what the side effects are, and the requirement for work is only 5 days after a vaccine's given to look for a reaction. This is not enough time. All that shows is anaphylaxis reactions. This isn't showing what Merck found with their post-marketing surveillance, which is the only way that they test, which is on us. Then they let it out to the public, and then they see, okay, what does that do? Well, they found out, and this is them reporting on themselves, that they found brain inflammation. and that seemed to cause chronic brain inflammation. Next, pancreatitis, like inflamed pancreas, it's kind of an intense one. Excessive bleeding, and heard of the horrible hemorrhagic stories. Any blood disorder, and diabetes, that's a pretty big one. So this is mercury self-reporting. Shouldn't we have the ability to say, no, I think I'd rather risk my kids getting measles than this possibility of death being the last one?
Yes, we should.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'd like to challenge the representatives to not be the doctors here. Let's give back the right to the doctors. I can't believe the vaccine reporting is apparently now only what's reported is only 1% they found out. That's pretty huge. So every reaction you hear times it by 99, 100 to get what's really going on out there. Our country has obviously become too capitalist, and we're not taking care of people. In our state, we should not be reacting like this. We're conservative. We stand up for our bodies and our rights and our guns. So kind of stand up for our needles in us, please. I can't believe the state's letting this go this far. But we want to look at what the possibility is with this, the amendment, where it felt like this bill might have been getting thrown out, but then the amendment came out and everybody was feeling a little more comfortable. This amendment is not that helpful. It, one, discriminates against naturopaths, so we aren't allowed to get any medical exemptions, which a whole different issue there. But the medical exemptions are so strict in the state. They are against what the CDC recommends, and they are against what the vaccine insert recommends. Then you add on this 3 visits to catch up in 3 months, and now we are all the scientific experiment, and our children are the experiment of what this is going to do. When it's clearly shown that the aluminum is going to be, what'd you say, yeah, you know already. Oh, it was neurotoxic, but the levels were going to be 4 times more on, it was quite a bit higher of the aluminum that is not allowed to be in. So a 1-year-old or below should not be allowed to have any of this aluminum in them, let alone the retroviruses and fetal parts, the aborted fetal parts, which again brings up a really good point of religious exemption. And we're taking these people who, like Dr. Salek, who is Catholic, I was raised Catholic, we don't like aborted fetuses, so telling somebody who's Catholic you have to put this in your body now, or a Muslim who does not believe that they should have this pig part in them. It's raised in chicken embryos. Now we've got vegans and vegetarians have to go against what they believe. We're just Xing out all these minorities. So this whole conversation has brought up so much discrimination and censorship. We can't even go find articles now to look at. My doctor friends are like, "Oh, that stuff is gone." I'm like, "Yeah, they're pulling this away from us." So we have to hold on to all this information and be our own storages. I really hope to see that we can have more studies on what this is doing to us, the immune compromised, and children who just aren't ready to have this many at once. We're not going to experiment with this horrible option. How are we going to shift over to, I know, the like, sure. So, start me out. What do we know?
Okay,
Right.
so what do we know about have studies? Dr. Hoffman, have studies been done on vaccines and vaccines?
Can you speak louder? We can't hardly hear you at all. Even with the microphone.
Okay, we're going to do a little back and forth here. Dr. Julie Glass. Dr. Hoffman and I work together at Calypso. I'm now in Salem at Deepens Family Medicine. So Dr. Hoffman, can you tell me what the purpose of a double-blind placebo-controlled trial is?
Oh, yes, love to. That is where we can really take out all the compounding factors and find out if just putting, say, aluminum in a child is a good idea or not. And then with comparing for those who only had saline put in their system, we'll be able to see the reactions.
It's a really cheap machine. I'm sorry, you're just gonna talk loud.
I can do that. Okay. So
Yeah, you need a better speaker. That's horrible.
Do you want to just try to project me
Yes.
out that? You're
We'll
welcome.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure that he can come back here.
All right. I'm gonna hand it over to Julie. There's more things I have definitely on my plate in my head. But I really appreciate being here. And I'm definitely happy to talk with anybody a little bit more if you'd like. And if there's anything more I can do, let me know. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so I'm going to do a volume check here. Can everybody hear me back there? Okay. My name is Julie Glass. I'm a naturopathic doctor here in Salem, and Dr. Amanda and I work together in McMinnville at Calypso Natural Clinic. We are naturopathic doctors, so we are holistic doctors, and we are about preventative medicine. And we like to teach people how to be proactive with their health. And every person standing here today is in one way, shape, or form taking a proactive stance for their health and against this bill, which is not proactive at all. This bill, HB 3063, targets children who are not fully immunized and would prevent them from going to public school. In the state of Oregon, if you miss one vaccine, if a parent, say, decides to opt out of Hepatitis B Vaccine for their child, that child is considered unvaccinated and goes in the unvaccinated statistics. Never mind, they could have gotten the rest of the 70-something immunizations. They're going to go into the unvaccinated pool if they miss one immunization. And we think that one size fits all for all the immunizations is not okay for everybody. The catch-up schedule that is recommended with this bill, I saw something today of what a catch-up schedule could look like for children. Say a child has 0 immunizations, and the parents want that child to go to school, to public school,
Or private.
or private.
Or charter.
Okay, so they want their kids to go to school.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Yep. The catch-up schedule to catch up on the recommended vaccinations for the Oregon schedule, which is different than the federal schedule, would be quicker than what the CDC recommends. So take that in. We have the only safety we have, the supposed safety, is from the CDC that recommends that certain vaccines not be given together and not within a certain amount of time with each other. And we have our legislators who are proposing that we disregard what the CDC says to achieve this goal of getting this bill enacted into law. And we say, no, that's not okay. You can't turn away science. This is not a scientific bill. We have lost focus. The focus is of protecting our children. I've yet to, as I was thinking about coming here and talking, I can't wrap my head around the medical benefit of taking healthy children and essentially quarantining and preventing them from going to school. What is the health benefit of that? I can't come up with anything. Children who are not vaccinated are not a threat to anyone. As Dr. Hoffman said, we are not in a state of medical emergency. If we were, somebody should really start telling the doctors who have patients and, community to take care of. But we're not. We're above herd immunity threshold for every communicable disease. So does a child have to get 3 vaccines of hepatitis B, which is not dependent on herd immunity, so to speak, to be able to go to school? That makes no sense to me. But what I know is that that vaccine has more aluminum in it, much more than the FDA recommends. So why would we mandate that?
Disgusting.
Yeah, it is not scientific and it is not okay.
Not scientific.
Not scientific. No. And the amendment that Dr. Hoffman was talking about that was added to the bill says the potential amendment, because it's being considered for the bill, would be to give physicians, except for naturopathic doctors, the right to write medical exemptions. So let me backtrack a little bit. In the state of Oregon, I cannot, as a physician, write a medical exemption. I can recommend one, and then it goes to the medical exemptions for vaccines in this state is basically if a child has an anaphylactic reaction in the doctor's office that is witnessed. Or maybe we can prove an allergy to a known ingredient in a vaccine. This drives me crazy as a doctor. This is not scientific that I have to wait until after a child has an anaphylactic reaction and could die in my office before I can write a medical exemption. What of all the autoimmune conditions out there? What about we know there is risk to every medical procedure. For every medical procedure other than vaccines, we get informed consent. If somebody is going to have surgery, which is out of my scope of practice, they get forms to sign that say, you understand that you could die from the anesthesia, or this could happen, or this could happen, or this could happen. And we don't have that. It is in the state. It's a federal mandate, but we're not doing it. And why would we take away when we don't have appropriate medical exemptions available to families? Why would we take away a parent's right to choose, as they are the legal guardians of their children, and they should have the right to say no as they would to any medical procedure. A vaccine is not a different medical procedure. So this bill doesn't protect us. This is not about public health. I think that our leaders have a chance here to really lead, to step up appropriately, and some have, But we're being bullied, and we're saying, everyone here is saying, no, it's not okay. I'm not going to put my child in that risk. The medical literature certainly has enough doubt. Everybody here and all of our efforts have cast enough doubt on this bill. So we need our leaders to work together, get rid of this bill that does not protect us, and let's look at the science we have and what we don't have. And largely, what's happening here, I believe, is that we're afraid of the unknown. We don't have the double-blind placebo trials for vaccines. They are tested post-market on our children. And that is not okay. Children cannot speak for themselves in this regard. So it's up to parents to protect them. The vaccines have ingredients that if they were taken orally, a child could be taken away from a parent. So there is so much discrepancy here and so much misunderstanding, so much there are levels of corruption. This is not, we have conflict of interest. We have the FDA and we have the CDC hold patents on vaccines so that they receive money every time a vaccine is given. I think that's a conflict of interest. I think if we really want to know what is going on with vaccines, we need to set up trials. Right now, we are always in defense and looking back because time tells. And as Dr. Hoffman said, the few studies that have been done with vaccines look at reactions that occur from 1 to 5 days. And that's not okay. We know it can take years for chronic illness to set in. The Hep B vaccine, for instance, which is one of my least favorite, I will disclose that. Hepatitis B is transmitted through bodily fluids. People who are susceptible are mostly it's through sex and IV drugs and transfusions. I think it's perfectly rational for parents to turn down that vaccine for their child at birth. It doesn't make any sense to me. That vaccine has at least, I believe it's at least 25 times more aluminum than the FDA recommends that infants have. And that child will be kept out of school. And something Dr. Hoffman and I had talked about was viral shedding. We know the live vaccines have some kind of shedding. It's an attenuated virus. It's less potent than the virus itself, but we know it occurs. And we know that people who are immune compromised should not be around people who have had live vaccines. So if a child gets live vaccines and goes to school, what happens? And can they possibly transmit it? We don't have the studies, but we have common sense.
No, Merck says it in their insert.
Oh, tell me.
Merck's insert says it right in there. Rubella, day 7 through 28. You will extract it out of any nasal or throat secretions. So you should not be around pregnant people or immune compromised. Why aren't these children being quarantined at home after they get a shot and they're going right to school? This is what the measles in Disneyland cost. So Merck says it right there, but nobody's reading it. It's clear as day that this is just so wrong, so wrong. I can't believe the whole state isn't here, you know? It's
Right.
So we're here.
We are here.
Okay, this is how we're closing. So this is something I found from UNESCO. ethics, and human rights. And this, I believe, this declaration was from 2005. And so this is an international committee setting standards for ethics for international medicine. In this age where we are learning so quickly and science just keeps, we are learning all these new technologies, but where are the checks and balances? So this is the Article 6, which is the article on consent in this UNESCO statement. And there are 3 points, and I'm going to read them to you. The first point is any preventable diagnostic and therapeutic medical intervention is only to be carried out with the prior, free, and informed consent of the person concerned, based on adequate information. The consent should, where appropriate, be expressed and may be withdrawn by the person concerned at any time and for any reason, without disadvantage or prejudice. Number 2, I love this one. Scientific research should only be carried out with the prior, free, express, and informed consent of the person concerned. The information should be adequate, provided in a comprehensible form, and should include modalities for withdrawal of consent. Consent may be withdrawn by the person concerned at any time and for any reason without any disadvantage or prejudice. Exceptions to this principle should be made only in accordance with ethical and legal standards adopted by states, consistent with the principles and provisions set out in this declaration, in particular Article 27 and international human rights law. And number 3, in appropriate cases of research carried out by a group of persons or community, additional agreement of the legal representatives of the group or community concerned may be sought. In no case should a collective community agreement or the consent of a community leader or other authority substitute for an individual's conformed consent.
Oh, can't take that away from us. No. That is definitely what I will be fighting if this passes.
We're fighting for now.
Yeah, we are continuing to fight it. I know. That's
So thank you.
That's why we're all here, right? Is we don't want to lose that ability. Let's do a couple of chants. Let's do my child, my choice. You guys do it with me? My child, my choice. 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 That's awesome. So we have some more speakers for you guys to listen to. Next up, we have Darcy Raposa. She's a working Christian mother of 2 children. She began researching vaccines about 12 years ago, but has really been involved in the last 4 years during the time of the SB 442 when she testified for time in front of the Senate Healthcare Committee. She's been attending meetings and visiting the Capitol since June, all while building relationships and educating legislators on vaccine issues. So let's go ahead and give Darcy a round of applause.
Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize into an undercover dictatorship to restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privileges to the others. The The Constitution of the Republic should make a special privilege for medical freedoms as well as religious freedom. Dr. Benjamin Rush, Founding Father. These words from Dr. Rush echo through the ages, as if he could clearly see 21st century America from the 18th century. Medical freedom is inextricably entwined with religious freedom. For if an individual views their body to be a temple of the Holy Spirit, he or she must have the freedom to choose what is placed into that temple. To be forced to inject or ingest a drug or biologic in violation of an individual's conscience should not even be a matter that is up for discussion in the United States of America.
Amen.
Yet, in state after state, across this great nation of ours, parents just like you and me are waging this battle. At stake in this fight, the freedom to educate our children in the manner we see fit, be it public, private, charter, or parochial school. Can you imagine it? Parents will be told that they may not send their child to a religious school because of their religious beliefs. Yet that is exactly what is going to happen if HB 3063 is signed into law. More and more, I fear that I do not recognize this country that I have spent my whole life proudly pledging allegiance to. Those wishing to mandate vaccinations are always quick to say that no organized world religion holds a tenet or doctrine which prohibits adherents from receiving vaccines. Well, I cannot say for certain whether that statement is true or not, as I have not studied the in-depth teachings of each and every world religion. However, what I do know to be true is that the Oregon Constitution does not require a citizen to be part of an organized religion in order for their rights to be protected. Sections 2 and 3 of the Oregon Constitution state that all men shall be secure in the natural right to worship Almighty God according to the dictates of their own consciences. No law shall interfere in any case. No law shall in any case whatsoever control the free exercise and enjoyment of religious opinions or interfere with the rights of conscience. In other words, an individual does not have to belong to an organized religion that does not believe in vaccinations. An individual can object as a matter of conscience to the practice of vaccination or to the ingredients in vaccines, and the Oregon Constitution should protect that individual.
Yes.
Now, this might be an uncomfortable topic for some. There is not consensus in the church, between people of faith, or even from the leaders of the pro-life movement. But you know what? Maybe it's time people got a little bit uncomfortable. Because frankly, I'm uncomfortable with the government eroding more and more of our civil liberties. Three vaccines that are required for school and daycare attendance in Oregon, that's chickenpox, measles, mumps, rubella, and hepatitis A, are manufactured in aborted fetal cell lines. This is fact. This is verifiable. Remnants of those cells remain in what is injected into the vaccine recipient. This is fact. It's verifiable. The long-term effects of injecting foreign human DNA into our bodies has never been studied. If Oregon passes HB 3063, pro-life Oregonians who have a moral objection to this will be forced to choose between their convictions and their child's education in public or private school. As if the loss of the freedom to educate our children wasn't enough, this week a county in New York State raised the stakes even further. Unvaccinated children under the age of 18 have been banned from the public square. No schools, no restaurants, no playgrounds, no shopping centers, no medical facilities, and no places of worship. The government is actually telling the unvaccinated that they are not free to attend church. Parents found in violation of this state of emergency could face fines and possible jail time. But don't worry. Rockland County Executive Ed Day recognizes that there are religious holidays coming up soon. Quote, if people immediately comply with the state of emergency and vaccinate their children now, they will still be able to enjoy Easter and Passover with their friends and families. Stated. Is this the America you know? No! What is happening to us? The time for sitting on the sidelines of history is over. The time to stand up and speak out is now. Our children and grandchildren are counting on us to rise up and be brave. In closing, remember the words of President Ronald Reagan. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in their bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Thank you.
Alright guys, let's give a warm applause to
Okay, can everyone hear me? Yeah. I'm gonna pull out my phone. Apparently don't have a bio, so I gotta introduce myself. My name is Jordan Orts, and I am a board member for Oregonians for Medical Freedom. Jordan, can't hear you. Okay, Jordan Ort, can you hear me now? Keep it close. I'm like making out with this thing. I'm a board member with Oregonians for Medical Freedom, and closer? Oh, sorry. I came into this fight in when SB 442 was. Is it not? Yeah, turn your head. Just talk louder. Okay. How about if I just talk louder? Yes. Does that work? It's already making me nervous. Darcy, what was your trip?
I don't know. I felt like I was shouting.
You were shouting. She had a lot of passion. Can you give her a round of applause? Okay, my name is Jordan. I'm a mother of 2 children. My daughter's running around here. And I am just another one of you individuals here, an American who doesn't want her rights to be taken away. And for her government that is supposed to be working for us, right? Yes. Supposed to be working for us to take away our choices when it comes to our bodily integrity and our children. So a couple of things for you. The science is settled. Is it settled?
No!
Vioxx, Accutane, Vicol, Meridia, Omniflox, Paladon, Quaalude. You know what those all have in common? They're all drugs that were previously approved by the FDA that have now been recalled. According to the FDA, a drug is removed from the market when its risks outweigh the benefits, such as when it's discovered that a drug can cause more side effects than previously in the safety trials. This right here tells me that the science isn't settled. Right. Vioxx, a pain medication made by Merck, was pulled off the market because it caused heart attacks and strokes in some patients. It's estimated that there are about 55,000 people that could have died from Vioxx. This product was studied in a group of 1,400 patients for 6 months or longer, and a group of 800 for a year or more for possible side effects. Merck was ordered to pay out $4.85 billion to families and injured people for this one product. We have a problem in America because this same company that made Vioxx makes our vaccines. It's the same company that had this product and other products recalled from the market. And they have no liability. There's no recourse for us if our children or ourselves are injured. And this is because in 1986, companies were going to the government saying, we're getting sued, we're gonna stop making these products. So instead of our government standing up for us and telling them to make a better product, they gave them free range and took away the liability. So instead of saying, no, you go back and you stop hurting our American citizens, they just gave them carte blanche. Does that sound like a good idea to you? No. So they have no liability. Let me go back to where I was. They have no liability. And since this act, since 1988, the government has paid out over $4 billion to the American people. So if a company, let me get this straight, a company, one product, they paid $4.8 billion for one product. And the government since 1988 has only paid out $4 billion. Don't you think that they have kind of an incentive to keep that liability-free product? That makes sense to me. Okay, anyway, sorry. So another thing, vaccines are safe and effective. No. If I hear that one more time, I might scream. We don't actually know. Because with that act in 1986, Congress said, okay, we're gonna take away liability, but Health and Human Services, you need to report back to us every 2 years to tell us, to give us reports and make sure that the vaccines are safe and that the safety testing is being done. Does anyone know how many reports in the 30 years since this act came into being? How many reports? Zero. The government doesn't know, yet they tell us that they are safe and effective. Also, Merck, again, remember Vioxx, is being sued by its own scientists because the MMR, the mumps portion of that vaccine, they were told to lie about the studies. It's not effective. Have you seen the Navy ship? The article about the Navy ship? In the Navy, 100% compliance. They don't have a choice. They have to comply. 100% of those people on that ship are vaccinated for the mumps. And they have an outbreak. It's not effective. This should be a concern for everyone. Not just us, everyone. Vaccines are tested for years. The Hepatitis B vaccine that Merck puts out, that we give on the first day of life, it had clinical trials of 147 infants and children ranging from birth to 10 years old. It was only safety tested for 5 days. 5 days. Remember earlier I said that Vioxx was tested for 6 months and a year longer? In a recording of the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices, when discussing a vaccine that was going to be added to the schedule, the committee asked the people that were presenting it if the vaccine was tested, safety tested, along with the other vaccines that were going to be given at the same time. And the answers were, no, it has not. And when giving more than one vaccine at a time, we usually do it in different extremities. And we will look at the post-market studies. Who's the post-market studies? We are. We are now the lab rats for them. But here is the catch to that. Vaccine reactions are recorded in the Vaccine Adverse Events Reaction reporting system, right? This is a passive system. So the CDC said, hey, we want to study this to see if it's accurate. They commissioned a study what that study came out to say is that only 1% of reactions are actually reported. And it cannot be used in studies because it's a passive system. So what we have now is a product that hasn't been properly safety studied, has not been studied or tested to be safely given with other vaccines, a company that has no financial repercussions if their product hurts our children, and now they want to mandate it. Right? So here's another argument. We need to protect the immune compromised. I have a problem with this. I do not have a problem with protecting children. I have friends with children who are immune compromised, and I feel really passionately about protecting them. However, a student with hepatitis B can go to school. Their right is protected. They don't even have to tell the administration, the staff, or the parents that their child is hepatitis B positive. And they can go to school. But our children who possibly don't have the hepatitis B vaccine and are healthy cannot go to school. So if the above statement is true, then how is that the case? It doesn't make sense. That's not what it's about. It's an argument they want to use against us, but it's not true. What we need to do is keep our children home when they're sick.
Yes.
We need to wash hands.
Yes.
We need to take those precautions. Thank you. We need to take those precautions and build up our healthy immune systems, like our naturopathic doctors I'm talking about over here, so that we can help protect our children and our society. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, a thought came to my mind, and it was, when you're in need, give. Maybe that sounds a little strange, but I was thinking about what I need to keep going on in this fight. And it is a beautiful sight to see out here on this beautiful sunshiny day, all this yellow out here. I want you all to look around, because what we need is each other. And we need to check in with each other and remind ourselves and each other that we're at war right now. And we are at war to protect our freedoms of our children. And I know recently with the healthcare committee passing House Bill 3063 out of committee, that felt like a defeat. But it's not over, okay? And everyone that came, everyone that testified, you did an amazing job. And you did an amazing job protecting your community and your children. And I want you to be proud of that. And keep that in mind, that every day we need to breathe.
I did the whole thing over here.
Because it's going to be a long journey, okay? So this isn't the end. And just remember to check in with each other and remind each other that we're going to be in this for the long haul, okay? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so another announcement, April 15th, Oregonians for Medical Freedom is hosting another big event. We are getting all of the information kind of together. Darcy?
Okay, guys,
This is a wrap.
with the 15th on your calendar, we can't give details yet, but you are gonna want to be here. On the 15th, it will be worth your while. If you have to travel, you're gonna want to be here on the 15th. What time? We don't know yet. We're still nailing down the details of it and getting stuff lined up, but Sarah Bacon, the executive director, wanted us to announce that put the 15th on your calendar because you're going to want to be here in Salem that day.
Where can we find out information as it shows up?
It will be posted on the Oregonians for Medical Freedom page.
Probably be on the website and
Yes,
the public
website and the public
facing
page.
Facebook page.
So So
And
also,
if you're not on the mailing list, you can
Yes.
sign up for the mailing list, and we send out email blasts that way too. So it'll get advertised through the email newsletter as well.
and I wanted to keep also mention that the squeaky, what is it? The squeaky wheel
Squeaky
gets
wheel
the
gets the
grease,
oil.
right? So keep bugging.
Ways and means.
Yes, if
Ways
you
and
feel like
Means
you're
Committee.
bugging them, that's a good thing. That's what we want. And also the Ways and Means Committee, even if you're not their constituent, when they're on that committee, they're representing all of Oregon. So you need to make sure that that even if you're not a constituent, you can bug them too about this issue. And please do.
And anybody that is able to come to the Capitol, get appointments, get in front of your representative and your senators. That is worth a whole lot if they can see your face. Bring your kids with you if you need to. But I mean, the emails and phone calls are great, but if you can get down here into the building and just walk the halls, and even if you don't have an appointment, stop in and talk to the aides, drop off flyers, just build relationships. Okay? That's how we get things done, is the relationships that we've been building.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So glad that we live in a state that allows us to research our medical decisions. We live in a state that allows us to find out information about whatever medical decision we choose for ourselves or for our children. And this bill is taking that away from us. We don't want that to happen. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to have an open mic. People can shout or they can use the mic, but you're probably going to have to shout either way. Does anyone want to come up and speak? I just ask that if whoever does speak would be respectful. Do know that a lot of the people here do vaccinate their kids. We're not anti-vax, or at least not all of us are. We're just pro-consent, and that's really what this is about.
Pro-freedom.
Pro-freedom, yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
So my name is Stacy Pelster, and I'm a mother of 6, but that's not the least of what I do. I'm also a school board vice chairman at my school. I'm also a Spanish teacher by trade. I'm also a business owner with my husband, and we run a successful business.
That's success.
There you go, yeah. The reason I'm here today is exactly that. Most of us here are probably not anti-vax, and we get that thrown at us way too much. My children are mostly vaccinated. The fact is, though, that children with an auto-compromised immune system possibly can't receive every single one on the list, or possibly have to do delayed vaccinations. My kids are among those. So when this bill came to light and people started passing it around to me, I actually had to consider 2 different sides to this equation. I'm a mother with kids that actually this would affect, and they're in those schools. And number 2, I'm a school board member. What am I supposed to do with that information? So I'm here personally representing myself. I'm not representing my school, but I do speak with some knowledge towards the impact this is going to have on our school district. I come from a smaller school district. So I'm not from the Portland School District where, you know, these kids are going to disappear from the limelight if this bill passes and nobody's going to say a thing except for those kids. I'm from a school district where if these children disappear from the school, the financial impact could take that school down. And not only that, we were hit by flooding in 1997 and 2000 and I think it was 6 again, that destroyed our schools, and we had to build every single school up again with bond money, and it was successful, but it was a real crippling effect. So we are at the point where we received a second bond. We're able to build our schools up, and we are just now being able to start getting back programs that help enrich our children's lives, such as music, band. I don't even think they have art yet. But these programs are slowly coming back. So the financial impact of these children being lost from a school district, to that funding that is needed desperately to keep these programs alive and get more teachers into the classroom so that the class sizes are smaller, so that the teachers can do more with the time they have with these kids, the impact is tremendous. If you guys don't realize that, if you guys homeschool your children, doesn't matter, you're still part of that school district. Realize you need to talk to your school board members. You need to talk to the superintendent personally. Have a conversation and mention the financial impact it is going to have on their schools. For me, it is extremely important about it. My district is a microcosm of what is happening in the rest of Oregon. We get hit a lot harder, and we have to deal with the nitty-gritty a lot more when it happens.
She's my double for today. Jonathan Lockwood is going to be our next speaker. Jonathan is the spokesman for Senator Thatcher, Senate Republican Whip Dennis. I know I'm going to butcher his name. Linthicum. Thank you. And Bill Post. He's been a spokesperson for over 40 lawmakers and candidates. And he's held executive roles for nonprofits and campaigns. And he is graduating with a master's degree from Georgetown University in May. Let's give Jonathan a round of applause. If you guys have signs and you want to stand behind Jonathan, people on the road can see it. People taking pictures behind you or in front of the speaker can see those signs, and it really will be impactful for any social media that's shared or any publicity we get from this event. Yeah, if you hold it and
Okay, so first of all, coming out on a Saturday is not always easy, especially I'm sure with the family. So, you know, gosh.
I know it's awkward, right?
So we've had this fight now going on for about a month against House Bill 3063. Some people on social media are saying this is about, you know, wanting to send in a biological weapon into schools or put other people's health at risk. This is a hoax. It's a total hoax. So the bill's changed. There's all these amendments. People are either lying or they're misconstruing, or they've been duped by someone else that's lying or misconstruing, that somehow this bill's gotten better. It's not better, it's worse. And there's a part in the bill, deep down in the pages, that basically says that Governor Kate Brown's administration, her health authority, can have unlimited rulemaking surrounding schedules, surrounding which diseases will be labeled restrictable diseases. And we know that Kate Brown's administration is not really credible when it comes to taking care of kids. There's been cover-ups of death in child care facilities. There have been kids that have been, you know, because of the audience, we don't need to get into all the details. Most people here that are adults probably know, but there is the foster care system in this state, who is run by the people who are behind this bill, is a nightmare.
That's right.
So we can't very well trust them with healthcare decisions for myself as an adult, for any of the families here, and especially not for kids. You know, kids, they talk about, oh, the kids are the future, the kids are the future. And as long as they're holding a sign up for gun control or so-called clean energy jobs, then they care about them. But they don't, you know, they're not tweeting about the kids here with signs. So they only care about kids with signs that say what they want them to say, not what, you know, expressing freedom. But something that people need to know is not a single bill is dead. Not a single one. Not a single bill is dead until, you know, the last Prius leaves the building, is what I say. But they're not, because, you know, on Tuesday there's going to be a hearing on multiple omnibus firearms bills. So they have what's called a relating to clause in every single bill. So if you say relating to healthcare versus, you know, relating to vaccinations, you know, depending on how it's worded, it tightens or opens up the bill to be stuffed with a bunch of other bills. So when you have like relating to firearms, they can put any bill relating to firearms in it. Whereas if it said relating to background checks, they couldn't put a storage bill or any other bill. So any bill that says relating to healthcare can have this bill stuffed into it in the last day of session, in the last minute. We've seen them kill like tons of bills in committees. We've seen them hold other bills hostage for other bills. It's not over until the last day of session. So you have to get as many people that are here today, have to get as many people, you know, as many people. I mean, I wouldn't shut up about this bill. I've told every single person I know, And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I'm not really political. This is the first time I've even gotten in politics, and people are waking up because this bill is a gateway bill. Once your eyes start seeing what's going on with the media, with lawmakers, with Republicans who say they're for freedom, and Democrats who say they're for choice, neither are for either of those. And we need people, your faith leaders, every single pastor in the state should be against this bill. Every single Republican should be against the bill, and every single Democrat should be against the bill. I mean, this is about kids. They say, oh, like Rockland County? What do you think's going on there? You think people are going to want to carry a binders full of vaccination records? No, this is paving a way for kids to swipe a chip. That sounds extreme, but I don't think people thought, 5 years ago or in 1776 that we'd be debating some of this stuff, and then they're taking away this isn't gun control of 2006. This is disarming people, totally disarming families, locking up their guns, taking away their firearms, making it so that a mom can't have a pistol when she is home alone with her 5 kids while her husband's on a business trip trying to make more money because his paycheck keeps getting clipped up for Kate Brown's tax hikes. They have over $6 billion in tax hikes.
Wow.
So all those tax hike bills, all the health care bills, they can all have this bill stuffed into it. Well, the other thing is they just killed a package of foster care bills saying we can't afford it. So it's their narratives are falling apart because of this bill, namely. And I'm a Republican. I don't think anyone would have any doubts about that. Just scrolling through my tweets, but I was shocked at how many people said they were Democrats. I was just like, why? But it's true. I mean, the Democrats in this state have about the worst of their party to offer. The only reason they can say this is a bipartisan bill is because 2 Republicans. 2, that's it. And whereas we can more credibly say this is bipartisan because when I was outside of the doors doing a live stream with maybe a dozen moms, they were, I think, all Democrats. So used to be. Well, used to be, yes, there you go. But you see why certain political figures, and this opens up a can of worms, President Trump, but you have to think about why are so many people so viciously attacked? It's because they're disrupting money-making systems. There are some Republicans in this building who want to get me fired every day because they don't like being, showed up by the members I work for who are actually fighting for everybody. And it's a money-making scam that happens in this building. And so when you start talking about, no, our kids are not lab rats. People want your kids to be lab rats because it makes them a bunch of money, and then it funds the campaigns for the people that make the mandates. And the other thing is when you mandate a liability-free product against informed consent, by the way, Senator Thatcher's informed consent bill, it's dying in committee. It's not going anywhere. So at the same time as there's a bill to force everyone to have unlimited vaccinations, there's a bill to say, well, maybe we should know what's in it. And I read an article the other day, and it was actually printed in the Corvallis Gazette-Times. But 85 naturopathic doctors just wound up committing suicide. No investigations. And that's printed in the news. What? That's not some hoax blog. That was printed in the Corvallis Gazette-Times. I don't think a bunch of naturopathic doctors just decided one day, I'm done. And you have to wonder, there's all these people that are speaking up and speaking out. You see what's happened to RFK and the Sarah Bacon with Oregonians for Medical Freedom opened my eyes to this. It was her. And I started like researching this and started listening. The people that are behind this bill aren't listening. And it just became really obvious to me something was up when Facebook decided that they would crack down on people like us. While they don't crack down on ISIS, and they don't crack down on like actual, really, truly fake news operations, like the ones that are run out of California and New York. And it's just, it was like, why are you trying to shut up a bunch of moms? And the other thing is too, is it's like, this isn't just a bunch of moms that woke up one day and said, I'm gonna be outraged about Representative Sherry Held running this bill. No, it's because they have kids and they know what's best for their kids, and there are doctors, there's veterans, there's doctors, there's a lot of dads here today. This is a lot of families, and you have people from all walks of life, and all these people too are like, the science is settled. Well, first of all, the science has been settled about a lot of things that turned out to not be true. What did they think the Earth? Well, so now there's flat earthers, and there used to be like the science community was flat earthers when an apple fell on someone's head. So it's just like you can't. Science is not static. Science is fluid, and science is evolving, and technology is constantly changing, and we're constantly finding out new and more information. Like, we know how much our words matter. There are experiments of like ice freezing, and the more positive thoughts were while it was freezing, the more aesthetically attractive the ice looked. Whereas like when they thought like really negative thoughts at the ice, it was erratic and chaotic looking. So when we're talking about this bill, we have to remind ourselves that we can't like manifest this bill passing to happen. We have to say that we will kill it. It's going to die. This effort will die, and we're going to win. That's right. So thank you so much for coming out. Senators Thatcher and Linthicum have really been at the tip of the spear on this issue, fighting this, and so you can email them. You can email me. It's jonathan.lockwood@oregonlegislature.gov. I will help you with testimony. I will help you with letters to the editor. But you have to show up. Like everyone here that showed up, we need more people to come, and more people. Hijack every meeting. Every city council should be filing a city resolution of disapproval against this bill. Every county commissioner should take a position. Every single elected, all the way from the bottom up, should be forced to take a position. Do they support what's happening in this building? They all want to run. They all want to be state reps. They all want bigger titles as they go. So they need to make a stand today against this bill, and they need to be answering for what their other, their pals up in this building are doing too. And so, I know it's like months and months away till the end of the session, but we can't lose steam, and we have to keep getting more people involved. So thank you guys.